All right. Hello out there, Packer Nation, and welcome to another episode of the Absolute Packer Podcast. It's post-Bear Week, and we won, so it's going to be fun. This is episode number 72, which I am going to call The Bears Still Suck Part 1, because there will be a Part 2 where they still suck at the end. We play them again.
Oh, you can't jinx it like that.
Oh, I'm not jinxing anything. I'm getting ready, baby. This is foreshadowing. So, kind of the summary here, I would say we easily dispatched of them 41-25. It wasn't even really that close. There were basically two garbage touchdowns late in the fourth quarter. Now, on the subject
Did
of
we
garbage,
put one of our coaches in for quarterback at the end?
We tried. We were turned down.
That's right.
We've already steered off. Was that in response to the Denver?
Yeah.
Oh, did they really petition to do that?
Yeah.
Who are they going to put? Elway?
No, it was.
That would have been sweet.
I don't know his name, but he
Awesome.
he was a quarterback in college, and he's been a position coach for how long. And he knew the plays.
Could you imagine if they put him in there and he got like sacked? He turned to dust. I mean, the poor guy would get obliterated and turned to dust. Yeah, wow. that was crazy. But on the subject of it was 41-10. Late in the fourth quarter.
It was epic. An epic beatdown.
So it wasn't as close as it seemed, but I was not. It's no secret. I was not happy with any garbage touchdowns. Looking through the little chat we had on game day of the Slack, it was none of us were really all that happy. I mean, it does happen, in the NFL where you do see things like that. But at the same time, this defense, no lead is safe. We just need to treat it that way. So it's like, put up a little bit of a fight, But nonetheless, a win is a win. And the Bears still suck. So I'll be saying that a lot.
They do suck.
Offense, I mean, they were humming. Aaron Rodgers, we had all our preferred starters until Corey Linsley went out kind of early, got hurt again. But we basically did what we wanted to do. Rodgers had 4 touchdown passes, passed 50,000 career yards in this game. Devontae Adams caught his 500th pass as a Packer, I think. And then there was one other milestone. I can't remember what it was, though. I only had those 2. I think there was some other thing that might have happened in there. But, I don't know what else you guys really had to say on that regard before we get into more of the details. But, look.
We're 8-3. We're right where we need to be. We were definitely chatting about the defense, and I definitely think that we all have our negative take on it. So I'm not gonna keep on harping on that. But the one thing that I was very impressed with is the offense's execution, and I always talk about execution just being simple as blocking. And I mean, they were just mauling holes for Aaron Jones to run through, and even Jamal Williams on his touchdown. It was pretty easy to see, and that was with Linsley out of the game. Yep. And he's going to be out for 3 to 6 weeks, it sounds like. But
MCL, right?
Yeah. So I was very impressed with. They had Khalil Mack on Billy Turner, and that was
who joined me.
I know. I was just watching mine because she was going by my power strip, and I'm like, "You're going to turn my lap
Oh my God, you guys!
We got cats galore."
Were you in the fluoride again? Inside joke. All right, keep going. Sorry,
I'm hanging it up. It's over.
Keep going.
No, and watching more of John Runyon, I think we have a potential starter there. We have a future starter. Pick? Yeah, I think he's solid as heck, So, as we come to the off season with Corey Linsley being a free agent, it gives us some flexibility to say, can we let him go? I mean, it's a scary proposition.
He's PFF's number 1 rated center.
It's a scary proposition, and that's in the Packers. That's going against them because they're not going to be able to pay top dollar for him. They're just not going to be able to. So,
no, I agree.
But I finally got to see my coach's view on my play 22.
22.
And the blocking was phenomenal. It really was. And especially on the interior. And Billy Turner did not give up a sack or a pressure to Khalil Mack, so that was good, except for the one that was called back for unnecessary roughness, or was it roughing the passer? I think it was. So I'm very happy with the offensive line. That's what I came away with my take on the game.
No, that's a good point. I did have a note in here that Lindsley went down pretty early, and it wasn't his back, which has been chronic. It was his. He got rolled up on, and it was his knee, and it ended up being MCL. He was actually questionable for a little bit, but then they ruled him out. So the line dance kind of started again, but they put Elton Jenkins, Elton. Hard to say. Yeah. At center, and I might as well just run right to this in my I'll go right to this in the notes here. I kind of had as the last bullet in offense, but the unsung hero this season has been the outstanding and versatile play of second-year offensive lineman Elton Jenkins. He had to fill in at center when Corey Lindsey got hurt. It didn't miss a beat, and I didn't know this until just the other day. He has now played at least one snap at every position on the offensive line since,
that's crazy,
and he's only in his second year.
Second year, that's phenomenal.
I mean, that's to have that kind of versatile of a player is huge. And he might be Ted's second best pick behind Jair Alexander.
That was Goot.
Ted, I meant Goot. Sorry.
Okay,
Goot.
sorry.
Ted.
I just thought you had a brain fart.
Is that fluoride again? No.
Fluoride.
No, it was Goody's best pick. I think is Jair. I think that's pretty safe to say. But Elton Jenkins' early returns are. I mean, if you can have an offensive lineman that could literally play any position and play it well. It's one thing to be like, we're going to throw you at right tackle for 5 snaps while Joe Blow gets a breather. There's a dog in the background.
That's my dog.
I'll allow it.
I got pets all over the place.
No kidding. No, that's been huge. And actually, as I think about it, Billy Turner, I think they overpaid to get him, but one area where we're seeing where he's valuable is his versatility too. Now was he left or right guard last year when they brought him in? What position was it? Guard?
Right guard.
Right guard. And I think he's better as a tackle than guard. And he's had to play some spot duty here and there too. So in a way, it's almost like they overpaid him to get another versatile offensive lineman, because he's been pretty good in that regard. He hasn't been, like a Pro Bowler at any spot, but to be able to have offensive linemen that can play more than one position and do it pretty well, where you don't have to completely change the offense, I think that's huge.
If there's one thing that we can definitely say that the Packers value as an organization, that's they like versatility amongst all of their position players, whether it's offensive line, wide receiver, defensive back, safety, whatever it may be. They value guys that can play multiple positions and in multiple formations. Like Kenny Clark, he can play a 1 technique, he can play a 3 technique, he can play a 5 technique. So, they value that. And that's something that really helps the 53-man roster, because when you come to game day, you only have, it was 45, now 46 this year, but those roster spots are very valuable, and that helps determine who is going to be on the active roster on game day. And that really, that's a testament to the organization and getting these right guys and the coaches coaching these guys up and getting them ready to play anywhere on a snap of a finger. So.
Well, I think especially this year, but even in a regular year, don't you think that's a good strategy though?
It always is.
I think it's with the NFL though. It's by and large, if you are, what does the saying go? It's like if you're a jack of all trades but a master of none, it can be difficult, because you want guys to dominate at one position if you can, but
quarterback.
But at the same time, having versatility is huge, because look, there have been times in the past, probably more under McCarthy or whatnot, or even before that with Sherman or whoever. If you lost an offensive line, if he went down, you had to change the offense. You couldn't keep doing what you were doing. You basically have to be like, well, we can't run over on that side, or we're going to have to give this guy help, and then there's less guy out in the pattern. And the fact on the offensive line in general that you can do that, I think that speaks volumes, where you don't have to completely change up the whole offense. That's big. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many other teams really could say that. So, even with Lindsley's a number 1 rated center by PFF. right? So it's not like he's like some chump. He's a good player, great player. But the fact that he can go out and you don't miss a beat,
right?
It's good. And center is like they say that's the most cerebral position because you got to make the checks, you got to snap the ball, you got to do the reach blocks, you got to do all these kinds of things. So to have Jenkins just slide right in there like nothing, it's huge.
So PFF is pizza from Festival?
Yes.
Okay.
It is perfluoride fluoride.
Oh my god.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
Nope, never.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
You pulled that one out, nice. So actually, the first bullet I had once the haha moments are over, they actually had some juice at Lambeau, which was good. There weren't any fans really, but I think they had 500?
500 something.
500, okay, which whatever. But the team didn't look flat as hell, which is nice because the last 2 games they'd had there, they looked like the Walking Dead, and the fact that the offense went out there and just basically did whatever they wanted against they were I think overall they're a top 10 defense. They might be on the lower end, and they were missing. I mean, let's be honest too. I think they were missing Akeem Hicks. He's their number 1 defensive lineman. Is he a Pro Bowler?
Oh yeah.
Okay, he's a great. Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure his status, but I know he's a good player. And he was injured, so that definitely helped our offense. But we basically had our way with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's the Bears, man. If you can't get up for the Bears.
So what's with their defense looking so bad though?
The Bears?
Yeah, they looked really bad.
That's a good question because how long had Hicks been out?
This was his first game that he was.
The domino effect of when they go, next man up. That's
But is that it? They just had a huge weakness there, and that was it.
I think it could be a domino effect.
Yeah,
it could.
Yeah.
Man, they looked terrible. They looked worse than the Packers. They really
that's not
did.
The only starter that they were missing.
It's like they looked terrible. They looked even worse than us. No, I know what you're saying. The other interesting thing I would say is this was also the first game that Mitchell Trubisky came back.
Wow, he was terrible.
Oh my God! Look at my note that I put here. I go, Mitchell Trubisky started and stunk up the joint. Talk about a colossal bust of a number 2 overall pick.
Yeah.
He might. No, this is the best part. He might very well be the Bears' version of what Tony Mandarich was to the Packers. Think about that.
I don't know about that, but
number 2 overall pick, and he's horrible.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And they had Mahomes and Deshaun Watson drafted around him.
Yeah.
So what happened to a better team?
So watching the Eagles play, in so close afterwards, he made Carson Wentz look good.
Yeah, nice. But Trubisky's awful.
Yeah.
I'm serious. That pick might set him back half a decade, if not more.
They can't pick quarterbacks, so it doesn't.
But they talked him up. They're like, he's looked so good, and his time in the wilderness, what time in the wilderness?
Who said that? What is he, the Revenant?
That's what. I don't know. Did you guys watch a different game than I was watching? That's what they made it sound like.
Was that Tony Dungy?
They made it sound like it was biblical. It was what?
He was out in he had a sabbatical.
It's like he's Moses with his staff coming in.
He took his football out into the woods and had a sabbatical.
He looked really.
No, he's awful. Every time he dropped back to throw a pass longer than 10 yards, I'm like, this sumbitch is getting intercepted.
Yeah.
It's like his accuracy is off.
So what is it with these guys? So him and Wentz both. Why? What in their brain makes them think they can make those?
Well, now wait, Carson Wentz. That was Foles who took him to the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. Oh, that's right. I was about to say, and then I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
that was right around E. coli time. So
and they never gave Foles enough credit for that, and he's not that great either. But
Foles is now on the Bears, and he got benched for Trubisky. So how bad is he?
He got hurt.
Oh, His ego.
And he's not very good. He's okay.
No,
but he's better than
How much did they pay him?
He's better than either of those other two.
he went bear hunting. He got shot. So.
In the wilderness.
I'll tell you what. He went with Trubisky out to the woods, and Trubisky tried to shoot him, and his aim was so bad they both came out of the woods alive.
Oh my God!
They both came back alive, and Nagy was waiting at the edge of the woods, and he's like, "Now what am I going to do?
Oh my!
You guys were supposed to go out there and not come back."
Somehow this
and you both came back.
Somehow this is going to wrap around into Andy making a Dick Cheney joke.
Oh, that's right.
We could go there.
Oh, did you? Lewis Black had a really funny bit on that, and he goes. The metaphor is he was aiming his gun. And then all of a sudden he went, I ran, Iraq, boom! That's pretty good.
Oh my God.
I remember that bit. Oh, it's pretty good. Oh man, off the rails, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way, boys.
Right?
Oh, so enough about Mitch Trubisky. It ended with a Dick. Okay, we talked about Mitch. We talked about Mitch Trubisky and ended with a Dick Cheney joke. That tells you all you need to know about their plight. Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns. He passed 50,000. I mean, I guess. Do you still think he's the front? If he's not the front runner, he's top 3 for MVP.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
You still think he's been turning the ball over a lot lately, though? He has been. Russell. He's had like multi-interception games.
Hasn't.
Well, no. Hear me out. He's had like what's his name? Wilson. Yeah, I was thinking of somebody else.
He's top 3.
He's had like multi-interception games the past 3 or 4 games, though.
Yeah, so those are the top 3. Mahomes and
and I mean that's not to
Wilson.
say like Rodgers is running away with number 1, but I think he's Mahomes is he's.
How did I forget about Mahomes? Jesus.
Yeah, but Mahomes has what's his name, the good receiver. You know, it's like
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, it's like
260 yards receiving.
I mean, like he's amazing. So it's like they
were trying to man cover him the whole game. Apparently,
I think it's impossible.
He's like the fastest player in the league.
Yeah,
like what are you doing?
Yeah. They showed
was that Grandpa Bay?
Well, I will say though. On one of his touchdowns, they had 3 safeties that he beat. That he literally just went right through like Swiss cheese. It was
3
ridiculous.
safeties. Nice.
Yeah.
No, he's. Yeah, when I see Mahomes play, and I see who he's throwing to, I'm like, could you imagine if Rodgers had weapons like? I mean, he's got Devontae.
Well, if they had a,
but if they had
a
tight
best
ends and
duo
the
award,
speed,
it would be those 2.
Could you imagine it? Could you imagine Rodgers throwing to Tyreek Hill? Right. Holy God Almighty!
Right. But that's where it's hard for me to separate that, right? When you have an excellent running back and you have probably the number 1 receiver and you might be the number 1 quarterback, like, well, how do you suss these things out? You know, it is a little bit hard, and I think that's where Tom Brady got a lot of extra credit too. And I think we see certain chinks in his armor, and he's 50 something years old now. So
now there's like a rumor out there that he and Bruce Arians don't see eye to eye. I'm like, couldn't have happened to a better team. Tom Brady.
You know what, Andy? Don't talk bad about Tom Brady because I just checked your Tom Brady fan club. It's 1 million followers now. So
1 million?
Yeah, it's 1 million followers. So congratulations.
Well, look, I was hacked.
Was this supposed to be 2 million?
My dad, my dad joined the Slack. You saw that, obviously. He joined the Slack chat. And at one point, Elliot was like, Andy loves Tom Brady. And he's like, and you see him, he goes, what? Question mark, exclamation point. And I'm like, no, listen to him. It's all BS. And then you were like, I think something happened to him growing up.
Yeah.
He goes, I think something happened to Andy growing up. And then my dad like disappeared. He's like, that was great. That was great. I was like, oh man, he thinks I'm like some secret Tom Brady fan. My dad's hilarious. That was great.
I know he is. I thought that was great. I thought it was awesome.
No,
See, inside joke, inside of inside joke, nesting dolls of inside jokes.
Oh, I know. It is. It is. It is, man.
Woo!
All right. Stay on target here.
Woo!
So, Robert Tonyan, not Tonyan.
Big Bob. Tonyan.
It is Tonyan, though, not Tonyan.
Oh.
Yes, he corrected reporters around his locker the other day. Big Bob Tonyan. Running away with being tight end number 1 right now with the Packers. Nice TD catch in this game, and apparently, based on his stats and what's going on in the rest of the league, he might make the Pro Bowl, which is interesting. And then, unfortunately, my guy who I picked to have a breakout season, Jace Sternberger, I mean, he's basically a distant number 2, which isn't like the end of the world, but Tonyan is clearly number 1, and Sternberger gets a couple receptions here and there, and I don't know. I mean,
he's coming.
I guess
he's coming on. I mean,
slower than you like. And if Tonyan's playing good, it's like, okay, feed him. It's almost like a good problem to have in a way, but it's just unexpected. I would have picked Sternberger to break out more than Tonyan. That's for sure.
Oh, no doubt.
Actually, on that 35-yard touchdown pass, that was to Tonyan. That was the pass where Rodgers passed 50,000 yards. Very interesting. And the poor Bears were like, oh, our quarterback passed for 50,000 yards in his career. Our number 1 wide receiver has 500 catches. And meanwhile, they have the slop on their bench. Like, I'd love to know their stats. He passed for 50,000 millimeters. Yay! Oh, my God. Now we're bringing out math jokes.
Be careful. We will enter the dark ages again someday.
This is true, but I'm going to laugh it up while I can. Have you seen those, like, every now and then they'll pull up to be like, here are all the Bears quarterbacks since Favre took over in 92.
Awesome.
Holy God.
Over 30.
Oh, my God.
Isn't that insane?
It's hilarious. And then
I have I couldn't. I think I could maybe just.
All you can talk about as a Bears fan is 1985 with McMahon. That's like all you can talk about.
And he was just okay. I don't know. He was.
I mean, they had the great defense, obviously,
right.
But I forgot the Bears. They went to the Super Bowl in 2006, but they got housed by Manning.
Yeah.
How the hell did they make the Super Bowl? Was that the year Devin Hester? He had like 8 touchdowns or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a rookie year. Or something.
I mean, they had probably the best quarterback in the 21st century in Rex Grossman.
Whoa. University of Florida's own Rex Grossman. No, they had an awesome defense. That was Brian Urlacher, like all pro, and Hester. Yeah, man, remember Hester in his prime? He was scary.
He was scary. I mean, teams would literally punt the ball out of bounds just to not punt him.
He could literally take. Oh man, yeah, he was fun to watch. All right, I don't have much more for the offense. I mean, ran the ball, we passed the ball. Rodgers, did he get sacked once? I don't think he even got sacked once.
What's a
sack?
The
offensive line looked great.
What's a sack?
Ooh. Wait, I could go a lot of ways with that.
Yeah, we don't.
But I won't.
Yeah.
Stuff your sorries in a sack, Mister. Remember what Seinfeld references. So defense. I have here, the defense played okay in the first half, although they did give up like a 56-yard run on like the second play.
I mean, we were on such a good roll here, Andy, and then you go to the defense. It's like you just totally just threw like,
We're doing so well until you talked about the defense. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I mean, on that play, it was the hole was large.
Hey, Darnell Savage had his first. Oh, his first double interception.
2 picks.
Right.
Yeah. That one in the end zone it was a bad throw, but he went up and got it. I'll give him credit on that one for sure. Now, Rashawn Gary got the start over Preston Smith in this game, which was good to see. I mean, he played okay. I don't think he played lights out, but he played okay. And Preston Smith, actually, it was funny, he made a couple plays in this game.
Touchdown.
Yeah, that's true. He had a fumble. He didn't cause a fumble, but he picked it up, or did he cause it?
It was actually Rashawn Gary and Kenny Clark.
Okay. and then he picked it up and took it in. So yeah, and then I think he had a pressure or something else in the game too. But you wonder with guys like him. I mean, he had really been loafing around. He'd been it had been past time, in my opinion, to get Gary in there over him, and they finally do it. And then does that light a fire under him when they do that? It's like part of me is like, that's Bush League, because it's not like I can't imagine Pettin. Well, maybe I could imagine when it's Pettin we're talking about, but Pettin walks into the locker room after practice one day and is like, I'm going to start Gary over you, and Smith looks at him and is just shocked. It's like if you're I just can't see that. If you're playing that poorly, it's like you can't be surprised it's happening, and now it's going to light a fire under you. I never quite understood that, But hey, it's just kind of interesting that he had his best game this year on the day where he loses his starting role. So I don't know. But hey, the fumble return for a touchdown, nothing to sneeze at. We talked about the garbage time touchdowns. I don't know. It's like, what do you expect? Even when we play prevent defense, it's it's nasty. It's ugly. And even though we won 40, what we won basically going away, the Bears have like statistically, if not the worst offense, the second worst behind the Jets, and the defense still allowed over 300 yards and 25 points. Right. That's not very good. Again, I'll give a little bit of leeway on the garbage time type touchdowns, but I mean, I think at one point the Bears had more yardage than the Packers in this game. It was early in the fourth quarter, which is crazy considering we were blowing them out, but whatever. I mean, I guess you keep moving up and down the field, and then Trubisky just turns it over. That's probably how those things are happening. But again, we're not going to be able to rely on this defense to do anything or win a game. It's not going to happen. It ain't going to happen. And we just have to come to grips with that. As long as Pettin's here, I don't see it happening. I don't know what else you can really say about that.
I mean, you don't think we can expect them to improve to the point where they can have one turnover a game?
Well, here's, I've been thinking that, that we were pressuring and getting sacks at a crazy rate last year with the Smiths, and it's fallen off a lot this year. I'm trying to think of some of the factors that contributed to that. I think one of the bigger ones was Kenny Clark got hurt. Yeah. He takes up a lot of attention, obviously. And the other, and I think I might have touched on it last weekend, but last podcast. If I was an opposing offense, I would run on us every down. And the Smiths weren't brought in here to defend the run. So, are they a liability against the run? I don't think they're a liability, but they're not nearly as good against the run as they are against the pass. And I guess what I'm saying is, as we get further and further in the season and we get into the playoffs, I think you're going to see teams run on us more because they're going to be smarter and better. And it's going to be up to us and the players they have to stop the run. Guys like Rashawn or the Smiths, both of them, are going to have to start playing a hell of a lot better against the run. Can they? I think they can do better, but if we're thinking that they're going to take their pass rushing savvy and passion for rushing the passer and converting that into defending the run, I don't see that.
But do you think that that other teams are really so disciplined that they will just keep running?
In the playoffs, hell yes.
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
Exhibit A is the 49ers and the NFC champion. I mean, because look, I guess, as much as I hate to say it, I think there's truth in that. During the season, you're like, okay, we're not in the playoffs. It's not one and done yet. It's not win or go home.
Right.
And I think some of these coaches either try to outsmart themselves or they're like, we got a high-paid player here. We got a high-paid quarterback. We got to pass the ball. I think there's a grain of truth to that. But when you get into the playoffs, all bets are off. all bets are off. And you're going to do everything you can to win, you would think. And again, I think the 49ers is the blueprint. Was anybody hurt in that 49ers game in the NFC Championship in terms of on our defense, injury-wise? Anybody of significance?
Nobody of significance.
I don't think so, no. And I mean, think about it. He threw Garoppolo threw 8 passes the whole game?
8 passes.
And they destroyed us. So that's my thoughts on the whole thing, defense, and as we get closer to the playoffs.
I mean, I don't expect us to go from 0 to best in the league, but just be at the top of the bottom third.
I like that.
No,
I hear you. I hear you.
I mean, I have reasonable expectations, but if we can just stop gap some of the terrible parts, right? And then make up for it in better offense, which I think is totally doable. I don't know. I'm still bullish.
No, I think the defense is going to have to improve. I think how much is yet to be seen. And I mean, look, they can't have any significant injuries. Got to avoid that. But
I mean, do you think we're going to get
where I'm also going is, and this is crazy to say, but it's like when you look at our defensive coordinator, he's a liability, not an asset. You would like to think you could look at your defensive coordinator and say, okay, let's change some things up. Let's disguise. Let's do this. Let's try that. That ain't going to happen. I think he's more of a liability right now than an asset.
Oh, he totally is.
And that's a huge problem because that's almost like, it's coming from the calls inside the house.
Yeah.
We're beating ourselves with the petting type stuff. Now, real quickly though.
Yeah.
We did bring in a big body. I don't even have the guy's name here.
Anthony Rush.
He's got it. All right. I mean, he's a body. Let's call it what it is. But I'll take it because I've made the comment before. When you look at our defensive line, they look like a bunch of linebackers. They don't look like big, heavy, fat guy linemen. It could be this year's Howard Green.
But all that said, though, we're going to get number 1 seed.
That'd be nice. It's going to be tough, though.
I mean,
it's going to be tough.
I mean, is it going to be tough though? We're going to lose to the Titans, but who else?
Well, I mean, right now, as long as we lose to the Titans and we don't lose another NFC game, and the Saints, lose a game, we have a tiebreaker over the Saints. So,
that's true.
Because of head-to-head.
Right. I don't think we can lose another NFC game, though.
We can't.
No.
If we lose another NFC game, I mean, we're sitting there at a 3 seed.
I don't think the Packers will.
The rest of their schedule, NFC-wise, I mean, the hardest game is the Titans game.
Yeah, by far.
And I think we're kind of forgetting the next game against the Eagles.
Is that on the road or is that
no? That's here.
And they beat us last year.
They beat us last year, and they're kind of our nemesis as far as a matchup.
They beat us last
year. Yeah, boy, I don't know. I mean, when I watched them play, they were terrible.
Yeah,
they're worse than they were last year. That's
and
for sure,
and boy, if our defense can't take down Carson Wentz, that's sad.
Well, again, I think I hear you. I mean,
the guy takes unnecessary risks.
Well, again, what I would point to, and this is where you have to kind of figure out where it starts and ends with the garbage time stuff with Trubisky.
Wow.
But
True,
Trubisky still. I mean, he had a lot of turnovers. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
he didn't play very well, but he threw a lot of freaking yardage.
Yeah,
they still gave up a ton of yardage, and they gave up. And Trubisky is awful.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be so delusional and so dismissive of garbage time.
And I mean, was I ever worried that we were going to lose that game? No, but I was annoyed. I'm not going to lie. At the end, I was annoyed at how easy they made it.
Yeah, they got to keep the pedal down because they don't have a track record of closing out games. So
no, and I mean, look, a couple things.
Yeah,
this team, the Packers team, they could lose to any team. They could beat any team, but they could lose to any team. And I'm telling you, this defense is not going to win us any games unless they improve. So I think like if the defense doesn't suffer any injuries, but it flatlines, it doesn't get any better, we're not going anywhere in the playoffs. If it progresses a little bit and maybe this new guy helps out somehow, helps out against the run and whatever else, and we steadily increase, maybe we can actually get somewhere in the playoffs. But if things are trending the way they are now, it's looking a lot like last year where I could see us, we're going to have to go on the road somewhere and our defense is going to get crushed by a good team, a good offense. I hate to say it, but that's the way I see this still kind of playing out. And the reason I keep saying that is Pettine. I mean, look, we're 10, 11 games in. Pettine hasn't changed anything. We're more than halfway through the season. We know the glaring issues and nothing's changing. Now, I don't know. I just don't see anything changing scheme-wise. And I'm talking coach and scheme-wise.
Well, would you be satisfied if he radically changed things and it got worse for a week?
Well, I guess what it depends on what that's true. It's like the context of the changes, If
right.
He's like, it would need to be changes that make sense. If he's just doing change for change's sake, that's one thing. I would argue the first thing, I mean, Jeremy, I'm sure you have thoughts on this. It's like a couple things. Number one, we need more big bodies up there. Quit playing so much freaking dime all the time. Now, do you have to go from dime to base all the time? No, but cut down on it. And then the other thing is quit playing such soft coverage on third and short and third and anything, really. It's like it'll be 3rd and 1, and we're in dime defense with cornerbacks that are almost 10 yards off the line of scrimmage on like 3rd and 1.
Well, I think the one if Pettine can do anything, it's
resign. Oh,
well, yeah. I mean that'd be nice. But I mean, I think where Pettine can make a difference is where he can actually challenge a receiver, and what I mean by that is
I agree with that. I completely agree with that.
And challenging a receiver,
play some man coverage,
right? But. And then challenging a receiver would actually help with the pass rushes.
And you mean bump on the line too, right?
Yeah, that would help.
Yeah, I mean they never play. Elliot, they're playing off coverage. When was the last time you saw him play man and disrupt on the line, try and disrupt a route? It's just, I mean, Alexander I think he'd be great as a man corner. King is a man corner, but they play all this freaking zone, and they don't even attempt to disrupt the line. I don't understand. I honestly don't understand why they do that. I don't.
That's Pettine's MO,
So is that a personnel thing? Does he think they're not good enough?
No, it's just what Pettine wants to do.
And I think, look, for all we know, I think I saw wasn't it you, Jeremy, that said he's kind of he's big into analytics?
Well, I mean, what I mean by that is that he's going to look at the grand scheme of things, and statistically, the defense is not lighting. They're not lighting a fire, and they're not. They're just sailing, and they're not really doing anything great, but they're not doing anything terrible. And what I meant by that was the statistics puts them in the top third. And I think that can be kind of a
misleading.
It's definitely, it's not it doesn't pass the eye test.
Yes.
But it could be to our detriment because Pettine kind of looks at it and is thinking, wow, we're not really, we're not killing a team, but we're also not putting a rubber stamp. I don't know. It's a whole other topic, but
I think I think I said this in the game chat at the end. The game was already over, and I was just kind of thinking about the garbage time touchdowns, and I thought, to me, it almost seems like Pettine is afraid of his own players. He looks at his players and goes, I don't trust these guys. I just don't. And it's not going to change. And I mean, the things we don't see are practice. Mm-hmm. And obviously, they're doing more practicing than are playing a game. You're practicing X amount of times a week and all that. We're not privy to that. Although practices in today's NFL, I'd love to see a practice and see what it's like compared to practice even 10 years ago in terms of how much hitting and all that kind of stuff. But I get the feeling that collectively, he just doesn't trust his players that much. Otherwise, the reason I think that is, otherwise, I think he would try some different things. But if he just doesn't trust them, he's like, no, I'm just not going to do it. I'm kind of grasping at straws because I'm just trying to, when things don't make sense, you try to make sense of them. You know what I mean? And right now, there's not a whole lot making sense, but there must be some reason. Compromising photos? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because you've said it, Jeremy. It's like Kevin King. I mean, he's a man corner. And it's like literally trying to shove a square peg in a round hole with some of these guys. Like you want them to be something else. Mm-hmm. You play the team you have and go to their strengths.
So,
think.
So when I look at, I'm on ESPN and they have a NFL team total defense stats, points per game. Packers ranked 19th.
That sounds about right.
20th is the Titans.
Points per game?
Yep.
I'd love to look. I mean, if you look at things in a vacuum, I think I asked this. What is our third down defense? Like all the stats of third down.
Well,
defense.
I know, and you break it down, and you can see some definite deficiencies there. But well, I mean,
and this is where that whole thing, like we said, like Jeremy mentioned, statistics, there's value in them without question.
But it's
but a lot of shit doesn't pass the eye test.
Well, you're right, because the Bears are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th.
Yeah,
22 points per game, but we just threw away. We just beat them up 41, and we could have kept going. So I don't know.
And part of I mean, look, it almost gets into that whole thing too about like the league wants parity and they're getting it.
Yeah,
it's a week to week league.
So that's what this shows. It's like
there's all this kind of
cluster of points per game. The low is the Steelers at 17.4. The high is the Cowboys 32.6.
Speaking of the Cowboys, did you see them try and run the fake punt the other day?
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy allowed that mess to happen.
Oh yeah.
Ugly.
Yeah.
Ugly.
No matter how upset the Packers defense could ever make me, that just always brings a smile to my face.
Oh boy. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, what's interesting, in the NFL, I don't know how many other sports are like this, but in the NFL, if you're any team, whether you're supposedly elite, if you're the 2007 Patriots that went undefeated until the Super Bowl,
right? If
you just show up, basically, quote, roll out the helmets,
yeah,
you're going to lose.
Yeah.
You're going to lose.
Yeah.
Whereas like the NBA, no, those teams, the great teams can just show up and they beat you. But in the NFL, because it is like the ultimate team sport,
right?
That if you just show up, you lose, period. And I think that's a huge kind of, and then there's all these other things. There's injuries.
That's true.
There's fluke plays and all these.
Yeah, it's really hard for an individual to just will a win.
Yep. No doubt.
You can't have Michael Jordan just come in and will a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of fascinating about the NFL. But but that is the truth for sure. If you don't, and I mean, look, LaFleur talks about it all the time. I've heard him say at press conference, he goes, if you just show up and you don't show up with your best, you're going to get beat. And usually you're going to get whooped. I mean, he's said it multiple occasions. He's right. I mean, it's not like it's rocket science, but.
So I think when I look at this, what I said about like, I want to be at the top of the bottom third, we're there.
You got your wish.
And I know I didn't look at this before this, but points per game, guess who's on top?
You said the Steelers?
No, points per game on offense. Points per game on
Oh,
offense.
Packers.
31.7 points. Number 2.
Who's number 2?
Kansas City Chiefs, 31.6. So basically tied. But, like, that's awesome.
What are if you got that there? I wonder what are Rodgers' stats? How many touchdowns does he have now?
32 something.
And he's got 3 picks, I think. 4.
You got the.
He had 2. Oh, you're right. That's right. He had 2 in the Tampa game, and then he had 1 in Indianapolis, and then 1 in Jacksonville. That's right. Yeah, I mean, look, barring injury, I'm really not worried about that much about the offense. Defense, man, I mean, special teams.
Yeah,
they played. Actually, I did have a note here. Special teams, actually, they played pretty well, save for Mason Crosby missing the first extra point.
Oh, God.
That was goofy. But other than that, I mean, it was good. I mean, Scott, he punted well. We didn't have any drastic returns or anything like that. And oh, by the way, when we were talking about player moves, they cut Darius Shepard earlier today.
Yeah.
And they brought in Tavon Austin. I don't know if you heard about this. Yep. And look, I think what that points to is, he's not going to be a savior as a wide receiver. Right. I think he's going to fill in for Tyler Urban, who that injury is worse than we thought. And I mean, look, obviously, I think Gutekunst finally looked at that and was like, well, what can I do to get better, number one? And Darius Shepard, he's like, Darius Shepard's not an NFL player. Urban's hurt, and he's hurt worse than people know. And they're not putting that out there. So I think that's why they brought in Austin to do that. And maybe they'll use him on some jet motion stuff on offense. But I got to think they brought him in strictly as like a kick return kind of guy, to be honest, which is fine because
we could use it.
Again, I would love if the team. It's like, look, I don't think we're ever going to get a good defense in our lifetime. But if we had a good offense and like the number 1 or top 5 special teams collectively, that'd be kind of neat. Treat it as a weapon.
I look at this stuff and I just feel like the glass is half full because if you discount, if you take out a game that we just like, if we lose it and we're like blown out, that kind of skews the stats a little bit.
The Tampa Bay loss.
We gave up some points in garbage time here,
I mean, I'm not sky has fallen on that. It was just more than anything. It was just disappointing.
I'm not excusing it either, but I think it's not as dire as we're making it out to be.
No, I'd agree with that. And the other thing, look, obviously they haven't done, you could make the argument they haven't done it in LaFleur's entire tenure, which is interesting. But offense, defense, and special teams all plays great in the same game.
Well, no, that almost never happens.
Not for us.
No. I can't think of a particular game.
And I mean, look, it's only been a year and a half for LaFleur. I'm talking strictly LaFleur's tenure. I think there's been games where 2 of the 3 have played well, but all 3,
you could just
all
say,
3 I haven't seen.
It's even hard to say where there wasn't at least one big mistake. Like playing exceptionally well. I don't know. I mean, some of that's a little bit subjective. But.
I think if the offense plays its A game, defense plays a B to C game,
we win.
And special teams plays a B to C game.
Yeah, we win. The Packers are unbeatable.
We win,
with that,
and look, I think we could win in the playoffs with that. The problem is, I think, we're going to see.
Yeah,
I just fear we're going to see.
Yeah.
The ceiling of the defense in the playoffs is probably going to be like a D.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that any other team is going to be bringing their A offense too. So like we have, no doubt. And this is interesting. The year Peyton Manning and the Colts won the Super Bowl, they had the worst defense in the league. Interesting. I didn't know that. They had a really, really, really bad defense, and they had a horrible running game too. Was it the worst in the league though?
I think so.
Wow. But
that was when he was. That was when they played the Bears.
But it's amazing though. Looking at these stats, it's like the differences between the best and the worst teams by certain stats is so.
Oh, I know.
It's
the margin of error in the NFL is so tiny. God, it's so tiny.
Yeah, but you look at the top teams. It's Packers, Chiefs, Seahawks, Steelers, Saints.
How about that touchdown? I was just thinking of this. That touchdown to Devontae Adams where Rodgers kind of threw it high and he plucked it out of the air and kind of
spectacular. Yeah,
Devontae is just he is fun.
He's
fun to watch.
Yeah,
he is fun to watch. One of those guys. He's just making everything look very easy.
Well, because they got to bring it and they got to keep bringing it. I don't know. I think we're gonna smoke the Eagles.
We should. We should.
You guys got me freaked out now.
Do not overlook the Eagles.
But no. I said we should. But you know me. I said, look, this team should not overlook any team.
Period. No, I'm all about
and they could lose to. So yeah, I completely agree. I think the last time they tried to quote roll out the helmets was 2 times. The first time was with the Vikings when they came in here and beat the freaking pants off of us at Lambeau, and that was a horrible loss. That would be. I mean, if we exactly on tiebreakers or whatever, I think they thought of that as a roll out the helmets game, and they got beat. That was just Dalvin Cook.
Yeah,
and then I think that Jacksonville was the same thing. I think Jacksonville's just a lot worse, so they happened to win it. But it's this team is not good enough to just show up against any team. No.
So do you think I don't know. The Eagles they're circling the drain. I mean, they have problems. Like I just can't see them coming out on fire.
The simplest way I could say this is we should win. We should win handily, which I guess would say by at least 10 to 14 points, but they could lose this game. That's the simplest way I could put it. Period.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win, but they could lose this game.
Yeah. I mean, any team can lose to any team. Okay. Yeah.
And again, the caveat is not the special team. The caveat is our defense will not win any game for us. So if the offense comes out and it happens to have an off night or, knock on wood, there's injury to a star player or something.
Yeah. So, all right. So this is CBS Sports. They're pointing out, so Packers are favored by 7.5. Aaron Rodgers is 18-2 in December home games, 16-4 against the spread. And the Eagles have been a disaster on the road, going 1-4.
What is the Eagles' record this year? They're like 3-7.
They are 3-6-1. 3-6-1.
And they're first place in the freaking division or something, aren't they? That dumpster fire division.
Yeah, they are 3-7-1, aren't they? This doesn't have their last game on it. Why doesn't it?
Well, it just happened last night. So.
Oh yeah, this was updated yesterday at 1. Weird. So this should be even worse. Because anybody that watched that game cannot be thinking that the Eagles are going to beat the Packers. They cannot be thinking that. I don't know.
You know what look, think about this too, though. Think about this. Okay, look, if you really want to go back to when was it? And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but this is like one of those times where I think it was the 97 Packers were like 10-0 and they had won the Super Bowl the year before. And they went in against the 0 and whatever Colts, Peyton Manning's rookie year, and they got beat.
Yeah. Anything can happen.
That was worse. That was best against worst.
Yeah. So it actually, the odds have changed. So it's Packers are favored by 9.5.
No, they went up.
Yeah.
But look, would you agree with that, Jeremy? They should win this game. They should win it comfortably, but they could lose this game.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But if you overlook an opponent, and this is
the Packers. If the Packers are ever this particular team right now with this makeup, this coaching,
okay.
If they are overlooking any opponent,
we're not the coaches.
They deserve
we're not
to
the coaches
lose.
or the players. I'm just saying, between the three of us, right? Like they should win this, right?
Yes.
They should, but this is a very dangerous game, and the Eagles. They're 3-7-1, and that's the biggest thing is you've overlooked the Eagles. I'm telling you, they can beat us. But
if the Packers are dumb enough to overlook this team, they deserve to lose,
and they could.
Well, I mean, should we lose it just to stick it to Mike McCarthy?
That's some 4D chess right there, baby. Can you imagine that?
You can just see him. You're like, are you kidding me?
We'll run the same fake pun at the end that Mike McCarthy did. I think it's score picking time, isn't it?
I just can't see it. Yeah. Let's do this.
All right, it is. It's at home. Eagles. Now, last year, the Eagles did beat us, and they ran all over us, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Thursday Night Football, they took it to us.
Oh, it's a Thursday night game. Okay, that is. Thursday night games are always trash. Don't let that cloud. I'm thinking. I mean, look, I'm going to say.
Yeah, this is a Sunday, isn't it?
31-20.
Yeah, it's a primetime game, and a 3:25 game.
31-20. Packers.
Could happen.
Uh-oh. Where's Jeremy? Where's your head at, sir?
I mean, like I said, this is just a game that we cannot overlook. This is not a team that we could just, expect to come in and just wallop.
I would be stunned if they really, I don't know.
Hey, listen. I mean, it happened last year. It happened as early as last year, Well,
it happened against the Vikings the second time they played the Vikings this year.
Right.
And that was at home.
Right. And not that long ago, we just had a 28-14 halftime lead against the Colts. So, it's not
but look what we just did to the Bears.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You play the team that you play, and
you don't like the matchup?
The matchup is not very good. I mean, they got
who's that running back?
Miles Sanders.
Colonel Sanders. No,
Colonel Sanders. It's not like they just do anything great, but I mean, defensively, that's where the matchup could be I don't know. It's just overlooking this game is just the worst thing that you can do.
Sounds like you're really scared that they're going to overlook them.
They could.
Well, again, like I said, if they overlook them, they deserve to lose. Period. They can't overlook any team.
No.
I don't care what the record is.
So, I mean, this is just a very scary game. And the matchup is not very good, but I mean, it's not like they're going to go out there and just lay an egg, but it's very scary matchup. And,
right.
Carson Wentz is not playing that great. Okay. Yeah. Right. Carson Wentz is not playing that, well. He probably has more interceptions and touchdowns, but, the Packers should win it. 27-26, no, I'm just kidding. No, I don't mean to be doom and gloom, but it should be like a 31-20, 31-25 Packers,
But... You hear that, Maynard? What do you think? You agree? You agree, buddy?
Okay, well, I'm 28-27, shutting out Mason Crosby as usual.
Man, it's funny. It's like when he missed that extra point, I was like, Elliott steaming and is got to be absolutely.
So what did they say? What did they say last night? Just Mason Crosby and one other guy are the only ones that have not missed a field goal, though.
He's had a great year, Crosby.
Yeah.
Extra
so,
point, you mean?
But no, he did miss the extra point, but
No, I mean that's his first extra point missed.
No, but he hasn't missed a field goal at all. That's what they said last night. I haven't been keeping track.
He's basically saying a field goal is different than an extra point.
Yeah.
Extra point is just an extra point.
Yeah. But he hasn't missed a field goal. I mean, he hasn't had to kick that many field goals, but like he hasn't missed any. Apparently. I don't know. I haven't been keeping track, but
who is saying that he hasn't missed a field goal?
Did he miss any this season?
Yes.
Well, then why did they say that?
I have no clue.
They literally said that last night, and I'm like, really? Well, I mean, I know I'm hard on him.
I mean, yeah, he's had a very good year, but I mean, to say that he hasn't missed a field goal, I don't know where that came from. So
I don't know. I don't know anything about his stats.
Oh man, I
his
swear
first extra point missed, and he's missed about 2 or 3 field goals, but he's human. It's going to happen. So
I feel like I didn't know enough to question it. I feel. God dang it! Now I'm going to have to look that up.
I don't know who came up with the fact that he hasn't missed a field goal, but
that
was his first. That was his first missed extra point.
He has not missed a field goal. What? He has not missed a field goal.
He missed the extra point. That's the only one he's missed.
Yeah, he has not missed a field goal.
My God, you guys, come on!
No,
he's looking at this. He's looking at the stats.
Yeah. He has not missed a field goal. He made
how many field goals has he attempted?
So total 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 for 13.
There you go.
Yeah, that's no joke. And he missed 2 extra points.
2.
Yeah. Yeah, no joke. I would cut him down if I could.
Oh, we know you would. Like I said, when he missed that extra point,
I think that's kind of bizarre, don't you? Like, so he makes the field goals, but he missed 2 extra points. I don't know. That's weird.
I keep forgetting that they moved the extra point distance back.
A
few years ago. When did they move it? They moved it 5 yards back, or even more.
It was like 5 yards, but that was like 2 or 3 seasons ago, right?
Yeah, it's been longer than I think, but
yeah, probably
because it was like before it was like beyond automatic. I mean, people never.
I was as shocked as Jeremy is right now. I was like, I can't believe that. I was yelling at the TV.
He's 13 for 13.
Yeah.
But he's
but two missed
40
extra
for
points.
42. 40 for 42 on extra points. So.
So
well,
he's my boy. Don't be knocking my boy.
Hilarious.
When his contract comes up, he's first on the list. We got to renew.
He's that guy's got a never-ending contract.
We got to renew him.
He's gonna be a Packer. He's gonna be like
he should grow a Santa Claus beard to match his Santa Claus hair.
A lifetime. He'll have a lifetime contract.
Oh my God!
All right, guys.
We have gone off the rails, but go Pack, go!
It started off the rails.
Go Pack, go, baby.
Podcast.
Chair.
I know, right?